For this video, I'm going to be sharing a list that I really enjoyed during the preview events, and I played a little bit of it during the closed beta as well. And the list is kind of fluid. I still don't think I've found the fully optimized version yet. I'm always trying different combinations, but essentially, this is what I call AD carry discard. Now, if you're not coming from League of Legends and you don't know what an AD carry is, Jinx and Draven are both champions that are considered an attack damage carry or an ADC or an AD carry in League of Legends, and since they're the two champions that this deck is based around, I call it AD carry discard. But in short, this is a Noxus and Piltover and Zaun list that is meant to be aggressive and take advantage of cards that make you discard cards and then other cards that benefit from you discarding cards. So with that being said, we're going to walk through the list so you can get an idea. And then as always, I'm going to play a game at the end of this video so you can see the deck in action, get a feel for how it works, that sort of thing. So right out of the gate, we have Jury Rig. And this kind of sums up exactly what you're going for with this deck. This says, when cast or discarded, summon a Scrap Scuttler. Now, Scrap Scuttler is just a 1/1, but the fact that if you discard this, you get it for free is very relevant. We're also running Legion Rear Guard because this is just a very aggressive 1-drop. It's a 3/2 body. Precious Pet is another very aggressive 1-drop. The Fearsome is almost like having Unblockable in the early game. Rummage. Now, this is an interesting card because it's like net loss card advantage. So to play this, you discard 2 and then draw 2. So you're basically spending 3 cards to draw 2. But again, because you're discarding cards, it helps you out. And this is also a way that you can level up Jinx. Because if you discard 2 and they're the last 2 cards in your hand, you will trigger Jinx's level up before you draw the 2 cards. Jinx will level up at any time your hand has hit 0 cards. And that'll matter when we get to the top end of this list as well. We also have Boom Crew Rookie. This card is phenomenal right now. The 1/4 body and dealing 2 extra damage to the enemy Nexus is huge. Do not underestimate this card. The buff it got during the closed beta, just getting that 1 extra attack was a very big deal. It's very relevant. Flame Chompers. When discarded, summon me. And this is just a 0/2 challenger, but we've got some ways to potentially give this a bonus attack or a buff to attack. For example, we're running Vision. Also, a lot of times these are just to clear the way for your other units. So if these challenge away potential blockers and you get to, hit with a high damage unit, then they're relevant. These also count as units to help you buff up a really, really big crowd favorite, which we'll see later in the list. So again, you're just trying to get free value for discarding things. Currently, I'm running Sump Dredger. This is a 4/3 for 2, but to play it, you have to discard 1. I've seen some lists that have dropped this, but right now it still makes my cut. I'm running 3 copies of the Glory Seeker. It can't block, but that's about the only thing it's bad at. It's got 5 attack for a 2-drop. It's got Challenger. The other drawback is the 1 health, but overall this is a bit of a workhorse. Vile Feast slows you down a bit, but this card is good. Draven. Big reason you run Draven here is because his axes are combat tricks that are burst speed, but they also require you to discard a card, so they're a great way for you to trigger some of your other effects. Draven used to be a 4/3 with quick attack for 3, and he was outstanding then. Now, in my opinion, he's kind of ho-hum, and I can totally envision lists that actually don't run Draven, as weird as that sounds. If you wanted to run like more aggressive 2-drops here, or maybe more copies of like Get Excited, or there's the Noxus card that buffs attack damage on 2 units. There's a number of things I could see maybe makes the cut over this and Sump Dredger. I think these are maybe the weaker spots in the list right now, but currently that's what I'm running. 1 copy of Get Excited. This is just situational removal. Another discard option. It's 3 damage to anything. Sometimes you can win the game by throwing this at a Nexus. I'm only running 1 because when you have Jinx on the board, if you draw more Jinxes, they turn into Get Excited. So this is kind of overflow from getting the additional ones from her. 3 Vision. When cast or discarded, allies get +1/+0. So a nice team-wide buff for free, hopefully. Crowd Favorite. Again, since you're playing, hopefully, a bunch of free units between the Chompers and the Jury Rig, this should be, like a 4-cost 5/5. It's not going to be as big as it is in the spider decks in all likelihood, but you can still get a lot of value out of a crowd favorite in this list. And then because you've got the challengers that can pull away blockers, this should be hitting pretty hard. Jinx is a 4/3 quick attack, levels up when your hand is empty. When she's leveled up, you draw extra cards per turn, and then when you empty your hand again, you get to make death rockets, which are just straight up burn and amazing. So Jinx is kind of the linchpin of the deck. She's why you want to run Piltover aggro in general. Some lists actually don't run her as aggro, and that's entirely fine. They just try to lean on things like Rummage to trigger her, or things like Experimenter. And so this is the top end. This card is amazing. So when you play it, you discard your hand. So if Jinx is on the board, you'll always level her up. And then you draw 3, but then you also deal 3 damage to an enemy unit. So this is removal on a body that guarantees to level up your Jinx. If you already have Jinx leveled up, when you play the Experimenter, it's a guaranteed way to trigger a death rocket. And the other nice thing about this particular unit is the play of discarding your hand is not necessarily as big of a drawback as some of these to play me discard 1. And what I mean by that is that Sump Dredger, and the reason some people cut it, can't be played if it's the last card in your hand. You can't discard 0. You have to have a card you're discarding when you're playing these cards that say to play discard 1. This card, on the other hand, you can play and discard any number of cards because it's your hand, and then you still get to draw 3, you still get the effect. So this card is just significantly better because it's less of a liability than these other cards. But overall, this is the list. So now we're going to do what I always do. We're going to go play a game on the ladder so you can kind of see the deck in action, get a feel for how it works, and we're going to do that now. All right, so this is pretty interesting. We're getting paired up against Freljord and Ionia, and they're running Zed and Braum. So usually when I see Braum, I think control, but Zed is usually either aggro or ephemeral or hand buff or some kind of like combination of them. This is interesting. We have no 1-drops. I kind of want to throw both of these back. I like having a discard activator though, and you can always pitch this to his axes. I don't know. Like, our hand is solid, and we're attacking on the 2s, so okay, fine. This is a risky keep, but anyway, as I was starting to say, I think we just ended up. We were seeing kind of a weird combo. However, there is a reason that these two are sometimes played together, right? This is definitely going to be deck buffing, so Omen Hawks, hand buffing, etc., etc. We can't attack into this. We don't want to give that away for free. So we're going to wait until we have a Draven to activate our chompers here. Alright, so there's the Braum.
How about a game of catch?
So if they yank our Draven here with their Braum, we can actually kill Braum, because we will Spinning Axe and discard the Vision. And so they wisely dodge us there. We're gonna go ahead and play a Jinx just to see what they play.
Like buildings or people.
You should try blinking sometime. There's always a way out.
Okay, so they recall Braum. So what we're gonna do here then instead is we're gonna go ahead and play the Spinning Axe ahead of time, and we're gonna discard Flame Chompers, because Flame Chompers can pull this away.
Time for the moneymakers. Let's boogie.
And we're gonna do this as our attack before they get the chance to play anything else. Now, they have the 2 spell mana backed up here,
sneaky.
so it's entirely possible they have like a frostbite effect. Alright, we get to push a lot of damage here. We're very excited to see that.
Hang on, Buzzball.
They're gonna play an elusive unit. Not exactly a shocker. And I think we're gonna pass. was really hoping to draw like a rummage there. A rummage would have been outstanding.
We fight for one Freljord.
Interesting. So, I think we're just gonna actually hard cast this Chompers.
The teeth means they like you.
And maybe even hard cast one of these visions here.
Strike quickly.
Nothing we can do here with the elusives right now. Argument to be made, maybe I actually should play this jury rig here as well.
Do scuttlers think we walk sideways?
Just so we have the full board, because we're going to open attack this next round, because everything we have is burst. So they won't be able to respond. We're just trying to push 7 damage. And we've got all of the tools that we would want to make this happen. This card would be outstanding if we had the open slot, but I think we still... So we go like this, and this one goes here, and this one goes here. And we're going to Spinning Axe to discard Vision. Which actually makes
Now
me
we're cooking.
Thinking more keep doing.
want to do this instead. So let's go like that. So they need a combat trick
Where you
to stay
going?
alive, even if they block
Stand and defend.
everything here. And it doesn't look like they have it, so we're gonna sneak this in. It's also a bit of a BM because they have to go through the Draven level up animation before they get there, but this is lethal, so you can see how fast of a start this deck can get. We also had the option of leveling up Jinx if we wouldn't have played the extra unit, but as it turned out, we needed that for the lethal. So anyway, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and hopefully this gives you an idea of how to pilot the deck. If you're new, this is your first time catching me, consider subscribing. Thank you. I love you all, and I will catch you in the next video.